afternoon, everyone. So today I am going to make bread pudding. I have not made bread pudding in a very long time, and I just had a little bit of a craving for it. So I'm going to bring you along, and I hope you enjoy. Hi, I'm Karen, and this is Grandma's New England Kitchen. One of the very first things we're going to do is butter this entire pan. My butter is not as soft as I'd like it to be, but I usually just use a paper towel and spread the butter around. Make sure to get in the corners and up the sides. It's hard to get butter to being soft. It's so cold here. Just make sure you get it in the corners, up the sides. And as you can see, I try to get quite a bit in the corners so we don't stick in the corners. Okay, so the next thing that we'll do here is cut up the bread. Now, I specifically bought this to make this today, but you can use some bread that you already have at the house that's getting ready to go stale. Basically, if you made a sourdough loaf or you have a French baguette, anything like that, use what you have. I like making this with brioche bread, and that is what this is. And I get it from Trader Joe's, and it says that it's made in France, specifically for them. Just have to make sure you get all the paper off. But if I'm going to make bread pudding and it's only once in a while, I'd rather go and get the brioche bread and make it with that. In all honesty, I don't think I have made this in, I'm going to say, a good 20 years. Thought about it, but I never get around to it. But since I'm doing all these recipes for my kids that they had when they were growing up, they did have bread pudding. I did make it. I figured it's time. Okay, so all the paper's off. And now what I'm just going to do is cube it. And I do use the crust and everything when I use a brioche. And just keep getting the bread down. When I get done with this bread, one of the things I'm going to do may seem a little odd to some people, but it just gives you a nice, moist bread pudding. And for anybody that does not know, brioche has a lot of butter and eggs. It's a very enriched bread. And one of the reasons I can use this bread that's already made, it is made in France. I did check the ingredients list. And one thing that they don't do over there that we do in the States that I can't have is the folic acid that's in a lot of our breads. So it is not in this bread. All the additives that we add in, I do have an issue with my MTHFR gene, so I do not process that folic acid that's in breads like that. So I should not have it. Okay, so now the strange thing that I do, before I go ahead and do that, I am going to add raisins. So it's about a half a cup of raisins. If you like a little bit more, feel free. I am not going to actually measure out the raisins. I'm just going to sprinkle them in. I personally like a lot of raisins in my bread pudding. Okay, then after that, we're going to add some pecans. I won't do too many of these, but I will sprinkle some pecans around. Okay, now here is one of the things I do that's a little different. I have a cup of milk and a cup of, 2 cups of milk and 2 cups of heavy cream. They do not get mixed. We're going to take the cup of milk without the eggs or anything and just drizzle it over this bread. So the full 2 cups of milk. Well, maybe minus a little that I just got all over the counter. Okay, and we are going to let that sit here for a little bit. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So just let that set. Put this off to the side. Now we're going to start working on the custard that's going to go over it. And to do that, let me get a bowl. This technically is my 3rd recipe that I started working on today. I did the bean soup, I did a cheesecake, and I'm doing this all in one day. I had to change my apron. The cheesecake I got really messy in. That stuff was splattering everywhere. Okay, so for the custard, we are going to do 2 cups of heavy cream. Now, it's supposed to be 4 eggs. I have 5, and the reason I have 5 because there's supposed to be 4 large eggs. And these are my own chickens, so I can get little eggs, I can get medium-sized eggs. So I'm going with 5 to equal about as much as 4 would be. Break your eggs into a separate container just to make sure no shells, and then put them in. So, like I said, this should be 4 eggs if you have large, 5 if you have mediums. I have some mediums and some smallers, so that's why I'm going with 5. These blue eggs are from my Americanas, and their shells are always so tough to get through. but it's pretty cool because the inside of the shells are blue. I don't know if it shows up on there, where other chickens, Americanas are the only ones that it starts out, the shell stays the same color. Your other chickens, the inside of their shells are white. This is a brown egg and the inside's white. And they actually dye it as it's coming out. And what's really neat about that, you can look at some eggs and see where it gets darker and then lighter. It all has to do with how that's gone through the chicken, and sometimes they don't print very well. But the Americanas, their shells are blue all the way through. Okay, so there are my 5 eggs. I will start getting this mixed up. Basically, I'm just making the custard that's going to go over the top. There's still going to be a lot more mixing going on there. Okay, so I need 1.5 cups of sugar, and I hope I have enough. My Azure Standard order comes tomorrow. I'm so happy because I'm almost out of sugar. One, and we're going to guess here on 1/2. And 1/2. I have just enough for my coffee. And I'll start mixing that in so the sugar has time to start breaking down. It should almost start smelling like eggnog here in a minute. About 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. Let's get another one and hold on to better. One and a half teaspoons of cinnamon. One and a half. Again, if you like more cinnamon, feel free to use more. I like it a lot, and I think that this is plenty. So if you like less, you can even cut that down. It's all up to you on your spices. It actually looks and smells like eggnog. Wow, not a cinnamon now. Then this is 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Zest of an orange. Just make sure you only get the zest, don't get down into the white pith. Nothing smells more festive than orange and cinnamon. We're already through the holidays. Not all of them. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Okay, that's enough orange zest. Really what I'm looking for is, as I'm stirring this and keep coming back to it, is making sure that sugar dissolves. And then I need, this is a lot, 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Boy, oh boy. I tell I've been doing just a little too many things today. I'm dropping everything. Okay, the milk is nicely soaking in. Let's make sure we have everything. The loaf of brioche bread, 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of heavy cream, 4 large eggs. We're using 5 medium, 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, 1/2 cup of raisins, 1/2 cup of pecans, 4 tablespoons of melted butter, 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a tablespoon of orange zest. We've got it all. Oven needs to be preheating to 350 degrees. And I think I'm pretty safe to say my sugar is broken up or has dissolved. So then you just pour this over and try to keep it in the pan. And I'm saying that to me because I can be messy. Okay. And just go along and squish things down, let it soak up. Now, one thing I am going to do is cover this and put it in the refrigerator for about an hour, just to let this soak in a little bit more. Get all the goodness out. So that is about it. I'm going to put foil over it, let it sit for an hour in the refrigerator, then I'll be back and I'm going to bake it. So I'll see you when it comes out. So have your oven preheating to, what was it again? 350. So I'll see you when it comes out. Okay, I have the bread pudding in the oven. So it is at 350 degrees and it will need to go for about 30 minutes. So while that is in there, I am going to make the rum sauce to go on the top. So in this pot, we are going to add 1 stick of butter. And my butter is very hard. 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Everything goes down together. I'm actually going to turn that to a medium. A teaspoon of vanilla. Oops, that's half. Oh, half a tablespoon. Okay. Maybe a little extra. And 1 cup of sugar. So this is a 1/2 cup measuring. Just put it all in together. I'm actually very happy my Azure Standard order is coming tomorrow. And the last thing is going to be, I don't know, just flood it in there, 1/4 cup of, this is a dark spiced rum, whatever one you like the best. This is going to cook. It's going to cook off any alcohol. For me and my husband, we're both adults. So what you want to do with this sauce is bring it to a boil and let it boil for 7 minutes. Once it comes to a boil, get the rest of that cream down in there. And then this will be the sauce that you pour over the bread pudding when you serve it. So like I said, I have to bring this up to a boil, then let it boil for 7 minutes. So I'll bring you back in just a little bit. Okay, this has come to a boil, so now we need to let it boil for 7 minutes. Just watch it closely and make sure that it doesn't boil over. Whew. Smell the rum. We have hit the 7 minutes of boiling. I am going to turn that off now. Now, all depending what the color is going to look like, obviously, it depends on what ingredients you use. I used an organic sugar, which is already a caramel looking color. I used a dark spiced rum, which is a darker color. So if you use white sugar and clear rum, it's probably not going to be as dark as mine. But that is the rum sauce. And basically all I'm going to do is pour it into a container. And let it cool down some. When the bread pudding is done and we go to serve it, you just pour some of the sauce over top. I love these containers. My little thingy to suck it down is in the kitchen, but I will be back in a little bit. I will show you the bread pudding when it comes out. So see you in a bit. Okay, so here is the bread pudding out of the oven. One thing I will suggest, the raisins. Try to make sure that you get your raisins underneath the bread, all of them. Some of them came to the top, and most of them are fine. I have a few that are like sitting up here that are a little overcooked. I'm just going to take that off. They're not bad, but I would just make sure that you get them underneath. The pecans, I'm not too worried about. They're coated in some of the custard and they got toasted. They're not burned. So that's perfectly fine, but this looks great. It needs to set before we start cutting into it. The rum sauce is all ready, and I'm actually going to seal this up right now. I have a bunch of these containers, and they're great for putting things away. All the air out of them. Everything lasts so much longer in this. I'll let this cool, and later on when we have some, I'll bring you back for the tasting. Okay, it's late. Done a lot of different things, but it's time to try the bread pudding. So I'm going to cut a little piece. Personally, I like the middle, but I'll do the end. Oh, that looks good. I like a little bit of whipped cream that I just put on, and then the rum sauce. I put the rum sauce in a little squirty bottle, just so I could go ahead and try it. Here, I'm going to come on over here. So here it is. And let's give it a try. Oh, I can eat this forever. The orange is not too much. It's very slight. The raisins are nice and soft. The rum sauce is phenomenal. And I don't like eating on camera, but I want to devour this. It's so good. Not too sweet. Absolutely everything is perfect about this. I hope you give it a try. And please hit like and subscribe. Hit the little bell notification, and I will let you know when I'm posting another video. I'm going to go and eat this right now. Have a good evening.